We're gonna learn how to draw this boat with graphite pencils.
For our member of enjoyingart.com, I'm looking forward to seeing you in our fun and relaxing Friday painting together. If this is your first time to our channel, it's all about making art easy with relaxation. Push like, share, subscribe, and turn on notification. If anyone feeling that you want to have a little bit more solid foundation for drawing watercolor, for now we plan some 12 weeks programs only for members in May. Different from our Friday program. Friday program is free to all members. Enjoy an hour in the morning or in the evening or both. We have fun practicing and learn some techniques. But if you want to get on some continuous training in different areas of the fundamentals and really worth your time and effort, so just go to enjoyingart.com/classes and you can take a look at all the available programs for members to get up from the fundamental to a higher level quickly. Let's use the Artisa 33 pieces drawing set like this. Up over here have 9B, 10B, 12B, 14B, and have woodless pencils, 2 of them, and one is a 4B, one is 6B, and has 4 charcoals, white, medium, soft, hard, and we'll talk about how to use different graphite pencil. Everything we're doing in the drawing is all about trying to create or recreate a relationship. When you think about relationship, instead of thinking about a boat, it's a very different idea. Let's gonna use the H a little bit lighter, the H pencil. So if you think about a boat, you can draw the boat anywhere. But when you think about the relationship, you have to think about where you're gonna put the boat. Where I'm gonna put the boat really matter for the whole composition. Is that what you want? Or do you want to push it a little bit higher? Or you push it a little bit more to the right hand side? Those are very crucial, important decision to make. You maybe think about, if I make the boat look like the boat, I'm really happy. Yeah, but why don't you spend just 10 seconds to thinking about how big's the boat, where you're going to put the boat, and you're going to be happier at the end of the drawing process. Now let's think about where's the edge of the paper. After you cut the paper, the edge right over there. This is the entire space. It is your drawing. It's the real estate that you're going to use. Okay. Now you want to think about, oh, maybe I'm going to move the bow a little bit more to the right hand side. Oh, here you go. That's how much you're going to move it. Let's move it over here. How about that? Let's move this much. This much. You consider the bow is positive space and the outside of the bow is negative space. Try to make your composition has some meaning attached to it. That's called intention. Try not to just copy what the reference look like. You can change it. You can move the bow all the way to the right hand side if you want. Try it to see if it work better for you. Now we talk about proportion. Don't get into proportion before you know your composition, because you don't even know how big is it, how you're going to measure, right? So now I'm going to draw a little line like this, and this is coming a little bit more toward this location, like that. And now you're going to think about the top of the boat over here. I think is about 1.5 of this, right? So you looks like can come up a little bit. So also look at the angle of this. All right, if you draw the line coming down this way, vertical from the tip, I think the tips can go a little bit more toward the right hand side. Here you go. Now I'm gonna draw a line, slowly curve into here. Right. So always step-by-step process. Try not to make like a multiple steps get into single step. Well, you can do it. I know you're very smart. but may not be the right way to do it, because in making your head spinning or too heavy or think about too much at once, you're rather to do it step by step. In that case, you'll feel more relaxing, easier, and also every step giving enough attention and time into it. Okay. Now I think the bottom of the bubble can go down a little bit like that. Here you go. Now we just have the boat in the right place, right? And then the reflection is vertically from the boat. Have a vertical line, so you can have the line over here. You can see that that's just the corner, right? Like a vertical. And also over here, vertically coming down right over here, so that the reflection would be like this. And now coming to the top over here, which is the bottom of the reflection, coming over here. Okay, hopefully you are trying something new, either the technique or the process or the thinking process of the drawing. Okay, now I want to think about, double check, always double check. Now I want you to think about the angle. What's the angle of this? It's not horizontal. You look at that, look at the reference, actually look like this, right? Oh, this is why it's so important. You should always double check. If you have the angle like this, here you go. I'm gonna make this side a little bit lower. Here you go. And coming to the top over here, like that. It's so easy, you just go straight all the way from the beginning all the way to the end. But it doesn't really mean you finish something, it doesn't really mean it's exactly the way you want it. So you have to keep checking every step. And checking, that means double check your decision. Okay. Now when you change the angle a little bit, and it look a little bit more dynamic and more interesting, and the reflection also this a little bit higher on this corner, like that. Is that good? Now I want to take a look at maybe the tip over here, just slightly a little bit lower. And I think a little bit lower, like this. And here you go. Like that. That's much better. All right. Now it's the big shape of the boat is already there. It looks like a halfway from here to here. There's a way you can measure, and halfway will be here. There's a little board over here, attaching over here for, put over here, and then see there is a roller, right? Put it over here, like that, and you can measure the angle. It's the right angle, and it has a little catch the shadow on the side, like that. I really recommend that our members use the learning center. And in the learning center, that is a part is called Drawing Basics. Inside Drawing Basics, I have all different kind of drawing lessons there. And every drawing lessons actually has something unique that you can learn from it. Even though you probably advanced in the painting, I still would like you to go into that Drawing Basics, spend some time on it. Maybe dedicate one evening a week. That would be really helpful. So after you get to this point, and the next thing will be pretty easy. But you make sure this is exactly what you want. And the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to shade the whole page to be a grade paper. And what pencil I'm going to use? I'm going to use a B pencil, just B. So it's not really, really dark, but it should be dark enough, right? And I'm going to do it left and right like this. just go with the movement of the water. Right. Keep going. A little more. Okay, now I'm gonna make it even darker. Take a look at that. Look at the water. Make it even darker. Okay. In the back, a little bit smoother. So I'm gonna make it a little bit smoother. Okay, what is the next thing we're gonna do? I'm going to use the eraser to lift up the light area. What's the light area? I'm gonna show you. It's using the DD eraser, you keep stretching it, okay? And then here you go. I'm going to shape it into a very skinny form. You see that? That's very skinny. Now I'm going to going around over here. Here you go. Now I'm going to lift up the light space. This is not called correcting mistake. This is called draw with the eraser. For the light shape, right? You see that? I'm gonna also over here, I'm gonna draw a little zigzag line, just a little bit like this, and we figure that. And over here, a little light shape. Just draw a little light shape like this, right? That's pretty easy. And the top over here, just continue, draw a little light shape. And on this side, even more interesting. I'm going to draw the whole light shape. Look at the angle of this shape. Here you go. Now I have a light shape. We already have the outline, right? Now you can give it a nice shape, light color. Put it all over here. One step at a time. Okay, here you go. Like that. Also on the side of the boat can be a little bit lighter, but it's not too light. I don't need to make it, I don't have to erase the whole thing. It's just erase half of this. That's fine, right? That make it a little bit lighter. Okay. And on this side, I can erase a little bit. I think this is a little bit too dark. Shadow area inside the boat. And then I'm thinking about what pencil I'm going to use. I'm going to go with the 2B. Make it a little bit darker. It's a 2B pencil. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to set this shape to be a little bit darker. So I'm going to draw with the contour of the surface. The contour of the surface from here to going up there. Like that. Right? Here you go. I'm going to drawing with how the surface going. This is the contour, cross contour drawing coming from here to here. The bottom over here, this much darker, so I'm going to change my pencil to be a 4B. So I can make it even darker. Okay, here you go. Like that, coming up. I'm going to make a little bit triangle over here at the bottom. Like that. That's good. You see that? Pretty easy and relaxing. Okay. On this side, I'm also draw some line going into go as the same direction as the surface. Also, I'm going to add a little line over here. So every Friday for members, we gather together, try to learn something maybe a little bit different from what you have done in the past. So I really recommend, I really suggest all members should try to make this a fun weekly fun experience for yourself. Just join in if you can. Okay, like that. Now here you go. Now I'm gonna make this area a little bit darker. That should be relaxing. So just rotate the pencil a little bit so every side of the pencil get a good use. I'm gonna draw a little bit of the edge. I'm gonna fill it in a little bit, make it a little bit more cleaner. Okay, now I make that a little bit darker. We'll come back to take care of the details a little bit later. What about on this side? This side, I can use a little lighter pencil. I'm gonna use 2B then. Okay, I'm gonna put it up over here, like that. Okay, here you go. Now it's a little bit darker. That's good. And we'll take care of the detail a little bit later. The reflection is in the correct value. And that, I think that can be a little bit darker. I'm going to use the 2B continue over here. Make it a little bit darker. I'm going to put the shape on this side. There's a smaller shape over here. You see that? There's a shape over here. I'm going to draw the area for the shape. I'm using a 2B. I'm going to use a 1B first. Make it a little bit solid. Coming over here. Here you go. And draw a skinny rectangle shape. Okay, like that. Now after you draw that, I want you to shade it. Here you go. On this side, see that? I can draw wrap around that is a little bit darker here. Okay, actually have a little bit gap on this side. Like that. Now here you go. And the top over here, I'm gonna spend a little bit time to fine tune the edge. Now from here, even easier because you just have fun and correct some of the shape. And the edge over here coming in a little bit like this. Now correct the edge. Now it's better. Now look more finished. Right? Now I'm gonna come in over here to draw on this bar. This area is supposed to be a little bit lighter. So use the eraser. Now here you go. Now I'm gonna make this little triangle over here. Make it a little bit lighter, like that. And I'm gonna come up over here. On the top over here, I'm gonna make it a little bit solid, a little bit darker, like that. So from here on, it's just adding more definitions, a little bit more. Now, take a look. Inside over there, I'm going to use a little bit darker pencil. I'm going to use a 3B. And I'm going to just add a little mark on the edge over here. And add a little mark, little line over here, like that. You know, if you want, you can put a few dot over here that's showing there is some details on the edge over here. And that's just should be very simple. And over here, I'm going to fine tune the edge of the boat, right? Like that. I'll even add a little line over here, a little line, but the line doesn't need to be all connected, like that. Now on the top over here, It's getting much better. I'm going to use even darker pencil. I'm going to use a 5B. Okay. I'm going to build it a little bit darker over here. Here you go. Now it's a lot deeper. Okay. Right. That's pretty good. A little bit solid. Okay. Like that. Alright, look at the side over here. We can use something really light. I'm going to use 2H pencil. I'm going to come here. I'm going to holding on it. I'm going to come here. Just draw a little texture. What you try to do is to suggest some movement. And that's good enough. Okay. I'm going to draw a little bit line. Like a simple line. Okay. A little line. Some texture. A little texture over here. Like that. And maybe a few dots. I'm going to use the 2H continue over here. I'm going to make this a little bit darker and showing that close to the water, it has a little bit lighter color. There you go, like this. We need to create a little texture over here. Also, we want the boat appear to be a little bit more solid form than the water. Now, I'm going to introduce the blending stump. So, I'm going to use this blending stump. So, what I'm going to do, I'm going to use the side of the blending stump like this. Just keep it a little bit light, okay? You don't want to push it a little bit too much. It's just going through like this, and you can see the texture. This is much smoother with the texture over here. But somewhere you want to keep, you don't want it to become automatic, kind of like from the left all the way to the right. Like over here, I'm going to just leave it somewhere over here. A little bit you see, I'm going to look any mark to represent information and intention. Okay, like that. If you don't have a paper blending stump, you can just use the paper towel and roll it up, and you can do the same thing. Now the texture is just different. Right, that's good. Now take a look at the bottom. I'm going to use a 2B pencil, just a little bit darker over here, and take a look. If you need to be darker, you change it to a darker pencil. I'm going to use a 4B instead, right at the bottom over here. See that? Like this. I'm going to make some a big rough edge like that. Okay. Look again. Observation, analyzing it, and it become. As the beginning of the whole drawing process is very important. If you have a good foundation, and the drawing, it will seems like a much easier for you, right? So always spend more time in the beginning. Don't rush it. Okay, now I'm gonna add a little bit on the edge over here too, like that. There you go, a little bit more on the edge, like that. Okay, now I can see that a little bit better. Now on the bottom over here, I also gonna use a little blender to organize this, make this a little bit more flat. I'm gonna a little bit more smoother. Now you can see how you use the blender to express your feeling, your observation, and your intention. Okay, like that. That's good. a little bit smoother. Okay, also on this side, I'm gonna make it a little bit solid, like that. I'm gonna use the 6B pencil, and now I'm gonna see a little bit coming out like this. Okay, here you go. Something, a little bit changes. Now I'm gonna get a H pencil. Okay, so I guess I wanted to have a better shape. I'm gonna see a little bit shape off here, a little moving shape like this. Here you go. I can see a little bit moving on the edge like that. Capture the accents, and here you go. Have a little bit coming out. Okay, like that. A little bit over here. But now do you see the feeling? It's the reflection. Because the moving water, it make it the shape kind of distorted in the reflection. Right. Now this is that reflection. And I'm going to use the blender as I make the reflection part over here a little bit smoother. Okay, I do need something really dark. I'm going to use the 7B. I'm going to separate that a little bit in the reflection here. That's a little bit darker before the reflection. Okay, now take a look at the side, right? With the eraser, I'm gonna having this coming down, having just draw the thin line. Okay, you see, I'm gonna draw a little thin line coming down over for the rope. Okay, another line, drawing it from here, coming down like this. Now, you don't have to work too hard, and you can do it very easily if you use the correct process and technique. What I'm going to use a 2H. Just make the shadow of this, a little bit shadow of this. Now it stands out a lot more, like that. That's the rope. And over here, coming on this side, and I have a little catch the shadow on top of this rope. Okay, like that. And there's a knot over here. We can draw the triangle for the knot. Think about simple things like a triangle, rectangle. Alright, now I'm going to take a look at the reflection now. Now I come back to have the nitty eraser. Now I'm going to make a little zigzag form at the let's see. I'm gonna come back here. I'm using the 2H. I'm gonna come back over here to shape the edge like this, and then we're going to draw a little bit on the outside, make it a little bit more clear. So you can see the form, the zigzag form on the outside over here, like that. A little suggestions. Here you go. And then on this side, you can spend a little bit attention, make it around the outside of the boat, make it a little bit more, remove some of the light shape, just get a little bit, but don't make it too different from the rest of the water surface. Okay, I think the last thing we're gonna do, we're gonna name the boat. And let's draw the shape for that first. And this is the area, right? And we can draw that right over here, making sure the left side and the right side is very much the same space. And like that. And rat. And we're gonna use the eraser, right? Let's see. We're gonna draw this rectangle shape. Like that. That's the rectangular shape. And then I'm going to separate that a little bit. And then you can put the letter inside. Okay. And then the rest you can just draw R, A, T. Right. And then in the reflection, I also use the eraser to, let's first see where's the area. This is the area. And making sure vertically coming down like this. Okay, it's the same, should be the same location vertically. And now you can just give it a little hint. That's it. A little hint. That already looked like the reflection of that.